Well, good evening and welcome to Oulton Park. This is the NXTGEN Racing iRacing League, Season 20 of NXTGEN's existence. For this season in particular on iRacing for NXTGEN features the Legends Ford 34 Coupe. As we said, we're here at Oulton Park tonight in Cheshire, West England, 200 miles northwest of London, 30 miles southeast of Liverpool. The sweeping contours and picturesque location of Oulton Park makes it one of the most popular tracks, not just in the UK, but of the world. Here at the Island Circuit today, we're coming out of the Cascades. It goes into a sharp right-handed hairpin instead of going down into the international section. This track, 2.6 miles in length, or 4.3 kilometres if that's your measurement system, 12 turns, 6 to the right and 6 to the left. And tonight, as we said, is the Legends Coupe cars, and we have 24 of them out on track at the moment. So let's get down to take a closer look at all of them. A little bit of housekeeping before we get underway, but just to give you a sit rep on what's going on, we've got about 7 minutes left of practice here. Mikey Doble is at the top of the standings, Dan Holland second, and Jonathan Gibbs third. Those three drivers are actually of the top, amongst the top 3 and top 5 in the last meeting at Lime Rock Park last time out. So without further ado, let's have a look at what's going on with this championship, what's coming up and what's been and gone. So first of all, the actual series itself. This is the Legend Series on NXTGEN, hosted every Wednesday night. NXTGEN have many leagues in their remit. 2 on iRacing, one of which on the Wednesdays as you're watching now, and also Friday night there is a GTE league, which I'm hoping to get involved with at some point. But this is the Legends. We started off all them weeks ago at Brands Hatch Indy for round 1. Round 2 was Donington Park National Circuit. Round 3 was the first transatlantic race, Lime Rock Park in Connecticut. What a race, or what a 3 races that was last week. But today we're at Oulton Park, a much different track to last week of Lime Rock Park. Oulton Park a little bit slower, a little bit more narrow as well. Next week, a completely different track as well, but in the same country. We're in the United Kingdom still for the Silverstone National Circuit, a very popular circuit amongst touring car fans. There's a week break in between rounds 5 and 6, but round 6 will be the Snetterton 200 layout. The 200 layout is the outer loop of the Snetterton circuit. Then we're off to America again for round 7 at the Daytona bike course, which is similar to the road course that we know of in the 24 Hours of Daytona, but the bike course is a slightly different variant of the track. Round 8, and we're over to Australia for the one and only time of the season, for the Oulton Park, now a fictional circuit, once existed but now demolished. Oulton Park, its legacy lives on iRacing, and what a track that is. Similar to Suzuka, that of it has a crossover section where you go underneath the bridge and over itself again later on in the lap. Looking forward to that one at round 8. Round 9 and round 10 are oval circuits. Slightly different as we're actually venturing into the two other mediums of iRacing's audience reach. The oval circuit of Bristol Motor Speedway and the dirt oval of Lanier will finish it all off. So these drivers, very much road circuit expertise until rounds 9 and round 10, where they'll have to adopt a completely different driving style in these cars. And as we mentioned, these are the Legends, very low on horsepower and very small cars, but definitely exciting to race in. These are free cars on iRacing for your rookie oval license graduate. So as soon as you have an iRacing subscription, you have these cars, and to get your oval license up, you'll have to do many races in these cars. The league is hosted by Jamie Dory. Contact him or contact NXTGEN via their Facebook page or the Facebook group. Just type NXTGEN as it's spelt in the top left there, and you will find this league and this organisation. Tonight's format, I know it says on the right there, but I'm going to read out something slightly different because it did change after the first round of Brands Hatch. But we're in practice at the moment. We'll have qualifying coming up very shortly at 2000 hours. UK time that is, so just under 5 minutes away from qualifying, which is 15 minutes. And then we have a 15-minute race. Following that will be a reverse 10 grid for race 2 and another 15-minute race. And then race 3, which is what I believe a full reverse grid of those that finish on the lead lap. And race 3 will be another 15-minute race. So, one part of the housekeeping to go. As we've got a little bit of time left, we'll go through the championship standings as it stands going into tonight's race. At Lime Rock Park last time out, Mikey Doble was the man to beat. 3 podium finishes and 2 wins, and a commanding lead in the championship. 40 points ahead of former BTCC driver Bobby Thompson, who had a difficult night, to say the least. But second place in race 1 was strong. A little bit of drama in the second race, dropped in down the order and was clawing it back for race 3. Jamie Dory, the host of this championship, third in the championship after a very, very good meeting at Lime Rock last time out. Ollie Peters, who was third in the championship going into Lime Rock 1 week ago, down to 4th, but only 1 point behind Jamie Dory. And 1 point behind Peters is Matt Allen, who had fastest lap in race 3 is what I believe round 9 is. Only 1 point behind Peters is Matt Allen. And Dan Holland, who had a good outing at Lime Rock Park, involved in the battle for the lead in race 1, which saw plenty of drama in the latter part of the race. He is 6th in the championship. Jeff Perkis follows in 7th, Stephen Daly 8th, Lee Horn in 9th, and Gavin Allen in 10th. And we resume the racing here. As we mentioned, Mikey Doble, Dan Holland and Jonathan Gibbs at the top of the standings. Still there, as we mentioned earlier, and named to welcome back, I suppose, Chaz Cleland, who's in the pits at the moment. Chaz Cleland was very, very impressive out at Donington Park 2 weeks ago. Missed out at Oulton Park, but he's back today, and we'll see what he can do. 24 drivers in the server at the moment. And Mikey Doble top of them at the moment, the man who's leading the championship, leading the way in practice at the moment. A couple of new faces as well to keep our eye on today. Wayne Douglas is one of them in the 66 car there. We also have a new driver in the name of Richard Poulter, and I have to be very, very careful watching Richard as he's driving the Oreo livery, which this season has been synonymous with Matthew Addy, who I don't think is racing tonight. But yeah, Richard Poulter in the very same livery, but welcome to him to the league, and 10th in practice at the moment. Pretty decent showing from him so far. We also have Paul Daly, number 6 car there, new to the series, as is Mark Flounders in the number 15 machine. They're the new drivers to look out for tonight. A couple of drivers returning after missing last week. One of them we were just watching there is Morgan Short. Michael Smith was here at Brands Hatch a couple of weeks ago. He's back in that Smirnoff livery just ahead of Poulter. Yeah, fair few returning names, and a few names we saw last week we're not seeing this week. But plenty of rounds to get your points up in this championship. But certainly better if you attend them all, as most of the drivers who are top of the standings have done so far. And we're about to go into qualifying now, which is a 15-minute session. And we will do an onboard lap as we usually do, and it will be with Mikey Doble. No doubt it has to be with the championship leader, but we'll let the drivers leave the pits as they all flock out of the pits right now. We're watching William Foyle there leaving the pits. And it is Dave Newsham who's come out the pits first of all the drivers. Dave Newsham had, throughout the season so far, he's been improving steadily, and he managed to break well into the top 5, well, battling in the top 5 last week, and he was very good in practice, we must say, just then. I think he was 4th in practice, 4th or 5th, one of them. So yeah, definitely showing his colours as we go further on in the season is Dave Newsham. Jamie Dory back here in the 13 car, third in the championship in his own league. It's not a fix, honestly, but Jamie Dory's been very, very consistent this season, keeping himself out of trouble and getting very good results. Chaz Clennon just ahead of him. Got to keep an eye on him tonight because he at Donington Park was very, very quick, so I'm sure he'll be bringing the battle to Mikey Doble today. Speaking of which, Mikey Doble a little bit further down the road in the Ivy Avenue machine. He will be looking to extend his already commanding championship lead ahead of Bobby Thompson tonight with some superb results. And believe it or not, Lime Rock Park was his first win of the season. He didn't win a race at Brands Hatch, he didn't win a race at Donington Park, but he finally did in Lime Rock Park, and in true fashion he did twice, winning race 1 and race 2. But we're going to go on board with him now of a lap of Oulton Park. So here we come towards the Old Hall corner, turn 1, a long right-hander. Don't go too wide as you'll collect the grass. Nice line through that corner. Now through Denton's and down the hill into the Cascades we go now. Long left-hander, tight on the inside is Doble. Now onto the lakeside straight. Why? Because the lake to the left of us you can just about see through the trees. As we come up to the island hairpin, the normal international circuit would go off to the left there, but this island circuit, which is synonymous with the Tocker series, goes to the right in that island hairpin. Up the hill, over the hilltop, and we'll come down towards Heaslopes now. A chicane which has been reconstructed many times over the years. Right into Heaslopes we come now, right and then left. Steady on the throttle in these very nimble light cars. Now through Knickerbrook and now up the hill, Clay Hill, under the bridge, and we'll come up past the water tower into what will be Druids Bend, a double apex right-hander. There's the first and then the second there. Usually better to go just off the second apex and drift it out wide as we come down the straight to Lodge Corner, slightly downhill braking through the dip, and now it will be a descent down the hill and back up again up Deer Leap. Car off on the left there, that was Jeff Perkins over Deer Leap, and that is a lap of Oulton Park. So how did Mikey Doble do? Times wise, straight to the top, a 1:35.5 ahead of Lee Horn and Paul Daly so far. So let's see who else can get themselves on the board. Tom Delaney has completed a lap, and that's Dave Newsham spinning in the island hairpin there. Resets back to the pits, but that would have been a yellow flag for these drivers. That might have startled them a bit. It might have startled Lee Horn there as he was pulling off on the inside of the island hairpin there. Oliver Turner, another new driver, a new name I'm not familiar with, just behind Dave Whitehouse there as they start or complete the lap. We'll find out. Starting a new lap by the looks of it. Dan Holland goes to the top of the standings with a 1:35.3. 2/10 ahead of Mikey Doble, but this is early days, and do beg my pardon, it's a 10-minute qualifying, not a 15-minute qualifying, as I mentioned earlier. Jonathan Gibbs. Now these three were top of the pops in practice. Jonathan Gibbs gets himself into third. So these three notorious in practice, notorious in qualifying now. Bobby Thompson late to the session. Not much practice under his belt as he goes around Morgan Short there. Morgan Short, a welcome back to him as he missed out at Lime Rock Park a week ago. But Bobby Thompson late to the server, still showing great pace as he's 6th place at the moment. He's just been knocked down by Chaz Cleland and Stephen Daly. Chaz Cleland just finished his opening flying lap and gets himself into 2nd place. We did say keep an eye on him as he was very, very quick at Donington Park a couple of weeks ago. Dan Holland is already back to the pits trying to get fresh rubber on. Who else have we got to look for? Ollie Peters just coming over Deer Leap now, following the Oreo livery ahead of him. And Matthew Addy is in the service, so there are 2 Oreo liveries out there. Ollie Peters puts himself 7th place. He dropped out of 3rd in the championship after Lime Rock Park. He had a very dramatic spin on the latter stages of race 1 1 week ago. He was running 5th, hunting down the battle for the top 4. Oh, and look at that, in second place, a new face to us, Wayne Douglas in the blue 66 machine gets himself into second place. Not a bad debut at all so far from Douglas, just a 10th off of top spot. Mikey Doble in fourth place, he'll definitely think he can do better than that, being the championship leader. Bobby Thompson definitely think he'll do better than that, but coming out of the island here now, using all the road and more, see if he can improve his time as he comes by next time. Got Morgan Short there in 9th place. Following ahead of him is Dan Holland, top at the moment, but this is William Ford coming across the line. Hasn't got a time on the board just yet. Puts himself 9th, and a lot of drivers have just put themselves on the board there. But William Ford gets himself into the top 10 just behind his teammate. And speaking of his teammate, this is Ollie Peters, followed by Mark Flounders there in the 15 machine. Plenty of drivers in the server tonight, 25 to be precise. Dan Holland getting past the Oreo car of either Matthew Addy or Richard Poulter. But this will be another lap completed for Dan Holland, see if he can improve his time. 1:35.348 before. He comes across the line. It is slightly quicker. He extends his lead, not by much, only a couple of thousandths, but extends it nonetheless. That'll still make the job a little bit trickier for Wayne Douglas and other drivers behind. Doble is back on the track. We'll see what he can do as we descend into the final quarter of this qualifying session here at Oulton Park. Chaz Cleland has got William Full ahead of him, but the third place runner at the moment, looking to improve his time. He'll have a bit of a toe in ahead of him in William Ford, but he will not want to be held up by him on these final corner, and William Ford does get out the way. Into Lodge Corner goes Chaz Cleland now. Down the hill and over Deer Leap. And he'll come across the line. What will be his time? Mikey Doble did set a time just a few seconds ago and did not go any quicker, and that is not even any quicker for Chaz Cleland. In fact, it might have been an outlap from him. Let's see what else is going on. The mystery machine of Jeff Perkis doing well in the championship, was around about 7th in the championship, but Jeff Perkis down in 16th at the moment, and Morgan Short getting very sideways there, coming through Heaslips there. But back with Jeff Perkis, and now back with Paul Daly. There's plenty to watch in this session. Lee Horn in 11th place, down to 12th place as Dave Newsham gets himself into 3rd place. As I said, he's been improving steadily throughout the season, and today this is really showing what he can do. 3rd place in the standings. Superb from him so far, with not much time left, not much time for anyone to get back ahead of him. Mikey Doble's already in the pits, so that'll be it. Oh no, he's not, sorry, he is out on track. It said he was in the pits on my timing telemetry. But he goes through the final corner of Lodge Corner now. And will this be a better lap from him? Comes across the line now. And he goes top. Mikey Doble with a brilliant time. 5 thousandths ahead of Dan Holland in the dying moments of the session. Just nips into pole position. That's why he's top of the championship. He can do laps like that. So, has anyone got an answer? Well, Dan Holland hasn't, as I think. Well, he is. Oh, he said he was in the pits as well. Come on, telemetry, catch up. He's coming around Druids Corner now, up towards Lodge Corner. Checkered flag is out, which means there's not much time to go. And that was Lee Horn off in the tyre wall at Lodge Corner. Now, iRacing's a little bit different to real life racing. It's not as strict when it comes to yellow flags. And pulling off is Dan Holland. He is not quicker, so he will not complete his lap. Wayne Douglas, what can he do? He might have, in fact, crossed the checkered flag. Let's see if Dave Newsham's up to anything. He comes across the line and doesn't go quicker, but Bobby Thompson did. Just ahead of him, Bobby Thompson gets himself into 3rd place on his final lap of the session. Brilliant from Bobby Thompson, who's 2nd in the championship, trying to hunt back down Mikey Doble, who is our pole sitter now. A couple of drivers still out there. Will Foyle, Michael Smith and Chaz Cleland. Chaz Cleland's probably the closest to getting up top out of these three, as Michael Smith takes a trip off into the kitty litter. But Chaz Cleland will pull off. William Foyle will complete his lap. Let's see what he can do. Doesn't improve his time. Half a second down from his previous. But it will be Mikey Doble who is on pole position here at Oulton Park for this opening race of the night. Doing what he's done all season. Dominated from the front. Let's see if he can... what I mean by that is in qualifying, but let's see if he can do that in the race. We'll find out very shortly. It's a very tricky track to overtake on in any car. It's very narrow. And a lot of your overtaking needs to be done on the brakes. So that's where the drivers will struggle today. It's a very twisty track as well. And in these cars that are very, very powerful on the rear end, that'll be the challenge for the drivers. So very shortly we'll get the grid up and ready for you as we go into race one very, very shortly. So there we go. This will be the grid for the opening race of the day. Mikey Doble on pole position with Dan Holland in second. Bobby Thompson will line up third with newcomer Wayne Douglas in fourth. Dave Newsham fifth, a much better showing from him today. Chaz Cleland in sixth. Jonathan Gibbs in seventh with Stephen Daly eighth. The two Crest Autosport drivers, whoop whoop. Ninth is Ollie Peters, William Foyle in 10th. Morgan Short in 11th, Lee Horn in 12th. And I would move the timing down, but it's not letting me. Okay, well, we'll have to put that away and just rely on the timing screen to show us what's going on. But we're about to get underway here at Oulton Park. So here we go. Lights are showing, and the drivers line up on the grid here at Oulton Park.
Green.
We are green, and away they go. A big burst of smoke coming out the rear of the cars as they get underway, and it's a bad start from Mikey Doble. Past him goes Dan Holland as we go into the Old Hall. Guards the inside from Bobby Thompson, but into turn one we go. And through the Old Hall. What's going on here? Catch up. And down to the Cascades we go. Dan Holland is out in front, and Mikey Doble's lost out many positions already. He gets back past Wayne Douglas and into third again, but Bobby Thompson has got himself into second place. Down into the Cascades. A brilliant start from Dan Holland as we come down to the island hairpin now. Hard braking down to first gear. Up the inside, Chaz Cleland is of Mikey Doble and Wayne Douglas. A good move from him to get himself 2 places up early on in this race. And look at this battle. Mikey Doble really losing out in the early part of this race. Not a good start from him at all. There's a car off in the background. I think that was Colin Martin. So we'll have a look at that very, very shortly. Oh, I just got it on the grass and just couldn't keep hold of the car. Does spin it. It doesn't collect anyone, thankfully. But not a good start to Colin Martin's race. Look at this further back. This is Dave Newsham, and just ahead of him is Dan Holland versus Jonathan Gibbs. Dan Holland has dropped back some reason. We'll have to find out about that. Dan Holland, what's happened to him? Not entirely sure. Won't be able to get the replay of that. But Bobby Thompson out in front, ahead of Chaz Cleland at the end of lap 1. And it really has shuffled up this grid. The end of lap 1, and look at these cars going so close together going into turn 1. That's Dave Newsham up the inside of Jonathan Gibbs at the Old Hall corner. And he takes the position. Back up to 5th place is Dave Newsham. Behind Stephen Daly is now trying it on Jonathan Gibbs and gets past him. So Gibbs loses 2 places in a matter of 2 corners, and he's got Morgan Short in the Jack Daniels livery to worry about, as he does with William Fall right behind him. Into the island hairpin. Short on the inside. Gibbs gives him room. Oh, and there's a spin there from Stephen Daly. Oh, and that's contact as well from Morgan Short and Jonathan Gibbs. It all kicked off just then. And Morgan Short trying to get underway again. It's really tricky to drive these cars on the grass. So let's see if we can get a replay of that. So stay with Morgan Short. Yeah, and just a hit up the rear. Constantina effect by the 84 car. On board with Dave Newsham, and now Stephen Daly, who's hunting down Gavin Allen. Stephen Daly caught up in the wreckage back there at the island hairpin, but out in front still Bobby Thompson, leading the way ahead of Chaz Cleland. Just over half a second between them. Mikey Doble's in 3rd place, down 2 places, but still good points for him. Watching Ollie Peters here in 9th place. One of the few drivers who are still in the position where they started. The driver has moved up the most places so far, as you can see on the timing tower to your left. Oliver Turner is up 6 places to 7th so far. A good start from him on his debut to the series. And Chaz Cleland going a little bit wide of the island hairpin there. Thing is, with these cars, once you get it a little bit loose, it's very tricky to catch it. Stephen Daly having a ding-dong there with Gavin Allen and Richard Poulter behind. The mystery machine of Jack Perkis just behind Poulter there. Will he try a move on the inside going into Heaslop's? No, he backs out of it. It is very difficult to overtake in these cars anyway, and it's very difficult to overtake on this track. This car is very, very prone to damage with the minimal amount of contact, so that's what these drivers have got to be super, super careful about. The top 4, bit of a stalemate between them at the moment, but it is Cleland trying to hunt down Thompson, Doble trying to hunt down Cleland, and Holland trying to hunt down Doble. Gavin Allen here in 11th place, dropping back a little bit from Stephen Daly ahead of him. And a little bit of a wider entry going into the corner from Allen there. That'll allow Poulter to gain on him a little bit, coming down towards the Cascades now. Poulter is close to his rear, not close enough to make a move, certainly not in these cars, but a big run through Cascades there for Poulter, and he'll be right on the rear of Allen as we come down to probably what will be the best overtaking opportunity on the track for these drivers, the island hairpin. No move yet from Poulter, still right on the rear. You've got to be super careful not to touch the rear of these cars. I know there's plenty to be careful about in these cars, but they are really, really tricky to drive, very sensitive to contact, and Cleland has got himself by Bobby Thompson somehow, so I will try and find out what happened there. There we go, Chaz Cleland past Bobby Thompson, and Thompson went wide coming out of Cascades, and Cleland was able to get by pretty easily on the straight there. But Cleland leads, not by much ahead of Thompson though, and Doble will close in now as these two squabble for position. To Lodge corner now. Thompson still on tight on the rear of Cleland. Now with these drivers, there's such fine margins between them. They're all super, super quick through these corners, so getting the edge on each other requires total skill and innovation, I suppose. We're thinking outside the box in these cars. Thompson using all the road to try and prove me right there through the Cascades now. Cleland taking a little bit of a deeper entry into the corner, now up towards the island hairpin. Thompson looking to the inside, trying to threaten Cleland, put him under a little bit of pressure, but not close enough to make a move. And Cleland will know that as he goes through the corner safe and sound. 3 minutes to go in this race, which will be around about 3 laps for Cleland to defend hard from the former TOCA driver, Bobby Thompson. Through the chicane of Hislop's, now into Knickerbrook now. And up 5 places, Chaz Clemens has gone. He had a very impressive opening lap, but up 5 places to take the lead. Will he guard it for what will be an impressive win? Through the corner he goes now. And it is real fine margins. We saw Dave Newsham on 3 wheels there coming round Druids corner there. Just about saw it in the foreground. And these drivers do have a fixed setup, I believe, so there's not much they can change on. Do they? No, they don't have a fixed setup. Do excuse me, it's another series I'm thinking of. Yeah, they can modify their setups to get the better of other drivers around them. There's not much to do on these Legends, granted, but fine little measures and details will be what gets them ahead of their competitors, particularly at this end of the field. Doble's dropped back a little bit from Bobby Thompson in 3rd place there. And Cleland going a little wider through the corner than Thompson there. Thompson right on the rear. Will he have a good slipstream and enough of the draft down going into the chicane of Hislop's? Not quite yet. He'll have to line it up on another corner. And that is the number 23 machine of David Whitehouse spinning coming out of Knickerbrook there, but let's buy all the drivers, the lead lap drivers. And something happened to William Full. He was running 6th. Oh, and he went wide, trying to get by. I think that's Oliver Turner in front of him, and let by Lee Horn. And eventually let by Ollie Peters. But final lap now for Chaz Cleland. Just ahead of Bobby Thompson, stretched away a little bit towards the end of that lap. It's very difficult to overtake on this track, so Bobby Thompson has got to come up with something real clever, real quick, as he takes more of the track than Cleland to try and get the upper hand on him. Down into the high island hairpin we go. Cleland is far enough ahead to not need to defend. A little bit sideways coming out, a little bit of the kick of the grass there to kick the back end out. Might benefit him. He now defends, going up and down to Hislop's now. Into the right hander, now the left hander. Not much time left for Bobby Thompson to try and take the position here. This will be Cleland's 3rd win of the season if he can hang on to it. If Bobby Thompson can get in front of Cleland, it'll be his 4th win of the season. Through Druids now. Only one more corner really for Bobby Thompson to try and take the position. And he probably isn't close enough unless Cleland makes a mistake here. Keeps it cool, tight on the apex there. And coming out the corner, it looks in the bag for Chaz. Oh no, what am I talking about? There's plenty. I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I thought there was only 10 minutes in the... Right, we'll resume the racing. It's still it's still up for grabs for Bobby Thompson. You were probably wondering what the hell I'm on about there. But yeah, 3.5 minutes left in the session. For some reason I thought time had expired. Never mind. Been a long week. Right, let's see what else is going on out on the track. Poulter, 12th place, just ahead of Morgan Short and Jonathan Gibbs. Jonathan Gibbs, who started near the front, trying to claw his way back through the crowd. And reverse grid contention, we can't forget about that, is top 10. And that, at the moment, is a battle between Gavin Allen and Jeff Purkis. Purkis, who's battling amongst the top 10 in the championship, as is Gavin Allen, who's in 10th in the championship. These two would definitely want that spot for championship points. Further up the road, Lee Horn is one of the biggest movers of the grid. 6 places gained, as has Oliver Turner. But biggest mover at the moment is Jamie Dory, up from last to 17th, 8 places. Although 17th is not the most glamorous of positions. Jamie Dory, 3rd in the championship, will be a little bit disappointed with that position, but pleased that he got up a fair few places. With still some time to go, as I found out. A big battle there, just ahead of Poulter, Morgan Short and Jonathan Gibbs. Gibbs might have the inside going into Druids. He does. Can he keep it tight on the corner? They do give each other racing room, which is good to see, but Gibbs needs to complete the move on another corner, and going to defend is Morgan Short, going into Lodge corner. And an undercut from Gibbs to get it alongside. Now he'll have the... Oh, and there's contact there, and that's it for Gibbs. He spins in front of the others, and it was Morgan Short moving off his line ever so slightly and making contact with the wheels of Gibbs that sent him off. And Gibbs' luck just will not run, just will not solve itself. And look how close these top 4 are. No swap of position yet. Thankfully, we haven't missed it. But these 4 have close right up to each other. Cleland still leads from Thompson. Doble leads from Holland. Down to Heaslips we go. Not much time left. Clouding over Oulton Park now. The track will cool down a little bit, making these cars a little bit more slippery. Cleland leads still. Thompson following in second still. Holland is real close to Mikey Doble ahead of him there, and I'm pretty sure, well, 3 of this top 4 were battling at the end of race 1 last week as well. And wide there goes Mikey Doble. Just got it on the grass and got it a bit sideways. That allowed Dan Holland up the inside going into Lodge corner. It was so close to contact there just then going into the corner, but they managed to get through safe and sound. Holland leads coming out the corner, but Doble got a very good run coming out of Lodge corner. They now start the final lap. Cleland still leads. Holland is into 3rd place ahead of the championship leader. This will certainly help Bobby Thompson, who is 2nd in the championship, behind Doble. Down into the Cascades. Doble's dropped back a little bit from Holland. Coming out of the old hall there. Oh, and very wide. Bobby Thompson there, wide off the track, trying to use more than the track to catch up with Cleland. Into the hairpin we go. Cleland's hanging on to this lead very, very well, you've got to say, but there's still time. And Thompson has a very good run coming out of the island hairpin. The sun comes back out to greet these drivers through on their final lap. Into the chicane. And now through Knickerbrook. Bobby Thompson taking a much later turn in than Cleland, and he did touch the grass a little bit there. That would have slowed down Cleland ever so slightly. Thompson trying desperately to get the upper hand of Cleland. Now going into Druids they go. Tyre on the apex is Thompson. He is so close. Has he got a good run? Cleland goes to defend rather urgently coming out of Druids, and Bobby Thompson will not be able to take the inside. He moves to the outside. Can he get an undercut? Cleland still leads coming through the final corner. Now coming out of it now. Thompson has got himself just alongside, but it might not be enough. Cleland will win the opening race of the day. Crosses the line just ahead of Bobby Thompson to take the win. Dan Holland comes through 3rd, and championship leader coming to tonight. Mikey Doble takes 4th place. Dave Newsham will be pleased with that result. 5th place for him. Lee Horn up 6 places to 6th. Turner up 6 places to 7th. Peters has come through in 8th. Foyle in 9th. And reverse grid winner Gavin Allen takes 10th place. So he will start pole position for race 2 coming up very shortly. But your winner of this race, Chaz Cleland. 3rd win of the season. He got 2 at Donington Park, if I'm correct. And that's number 3. He was the highest point scorer at Donington Park and up 5 places at a brilliant opening third of the race to take the lead very early on from Doble and Thompson. And hung on to it very, very well, you've got to say. A couple of DNFs in that race, sadly. Who I do believe was Whitehouse and Delaney. And drivers just coming through to finish Michael Smith and others. And in fact, Jeff Perkis was a retirement as well. So Jeff Perkis, he was battling for the top 10. Did have drama and retired. But here are the results. It says qualifying. It's not. It is definitely the race results. Oh, no, sorry. It isn't right. There's your race results. Chaz Cleland wins, up 5 places, just shy of a 10th ahead across the line from Bobby Thompson. Dan Holland in 3rd. Mikey Doble, championship leader, coming into tonight, 4th place. Dave Newsham 5th, with Lee Horn in 6th. Oliver Turner takes 7th on his debut tonight, with Ollie Peterson 8th. William Foyle 9th, and Gavin Allen 10th, who will take the reverse grid pole for race 2. Douglas 11th, Short 12th. Poulter in 13th, with Jamie Dory up 11 places in the end to 14th. Ian Crosby in 15th. Jonathan Gibbs, with 2 lots of drama in that race, finishes 16th. Stephen Daly, also involved in a little bit of drama in that race, takes 17th. Colin Martin in 18th. And in 19th was Mark Flounders. 20th, Matthew Addy. 21st, Paul Daly. 22nd, Michael Smith. Jeff Perkis, Tom Delaney and David Whitehouse were retirements from that race. Well, that was the opening race of the night here at Oulton Park. We'll rejoin you very shortly for race 2. Don't go away. The GP Box is an online marketplace for motorsports merchandise and memorabilia. Browse for a whole range of motorsports products in all forms of motorsport. Take Formula 1 for example. There is a whole section dedicated to Formula 1 products from your favourite drivers, cars, teams or tracks from all eras of Formula 1. There are more series available, including WRC if you are a rally fan. You can even search for your favourite form of motorsport to see what products they have in your favourite forms of motorsport. Or, if yourself are a retailer in motorsport, you could set up your own shop within the GP Box to open up your products to a much bigger motorsport audience. Find out more at thegpbox.com. The GP Box is an online marketplace for motorsports merchandise and memorabilia. Browse for a whole range of motorsports products in all forms of motorsport. Take Formula 1 for example. There is a whole section dedicated to Formula 1 products from your favourite drivers, cars, teams or tracks from all eras of Formula 1. There are more series available, including WRC if you are a rally fan.
You can even search for your favourite form of motorsport to see what products they have in your favourite forms of motorsport. Or, if yourself are a retailer in motorsport, you could set up your own shop within the GP box to open up your products to a much bigger motorsport audience. Find out more at thegpbox.com. The GP Box is an online marketplace for motorsports merchandise and memorabilia. Browse for a whole range of motorsports products in all forms of motorsport. Take Formula 1 for example. There is a whole section dedicated to Formula 1 products from your favourite drivers, cars, teams or tracks from all eras of Formula 1. There are more series available, including WRC if you are a rally fan. You can even search for your favourite form of motorsport to see what products they have in your favourite forms of motorsport. Or, if yourself are a retailer in motorsport, you could set up your own shop within the GP box to open up your products to a much bigger motorsport audience. Find out more at thegpbox.com.
Welcome back to Oulton Park for the NXTGEN Racing iRacing Leagues featuring the Legends Ford 34 Coupe. My name's Alex Everett of Crest Autosport, your commentator and broadcaster for tonight. Please do give us a subscribe to catch all these races throughout the season. We're on round 4 out of 10 at the moment, and we'll be moving on to the rest of the season as it goes by each week every Wednesday. But tonight, Oulton Park round 4, and a little bit of housekeeping before we get underway again with the racing. As we said, this is round 4. All them weeks ago we started off at Brands Hatch Indy for round 1. Round 2 was Donington Park National Circuit. Round 3 was the Lime Rock Park 1 week ago, and this week is Oulton Park Island Circuit. Next week we're off to Northamptonshire for Silverstone National Circuit. And then we have a week off in between rounds 5 and round 6. It'll be the Snetterton 200 layout, which is the outer layout of Snetterton. That'll be round 6 when we resume for the second half of the season. Back over to America for round 7, which would be the Daytona race course, but not the road circuit, the bike course, which is a slightly different variant of the road course we know so well from the 24 Hours of Daytona. Round 8 is the Oulton Park, a now fictional circuit, demolished some years ago, but its legacy lives on iRacing. The track of Australia, Oulton Park, will be round 8. Round 9 and 10, oval racing. 2 different types of oval racing. One on the regular tarmac concrete road of Bristol. And round 10 will be the dirt oval of Lanier Speed Park. We are on race 2, which will be coming up very, very shortly. where it says is a qualifying. It's not. It's another 15-minute race, but the grid is formed by the finishing results of race 1, but the top 10 are reversed. And we'll go through the grid very, very shortly when we get underway in just a few moments' time. You can get involved in Next Gen Racing's leagues by contacting Next Gen Racing via Facebook, or you can join the Facebook group itself, which hosts all the racing and arranges all the racing. Person to contact to get involved in this series is Jamie Dory, who's racing in this series today. There is another iRacing series available on Fridays as well, featuring the GTEs every Friday on Next Gen. So, drivers out practicing, and everyone on track trying to get some laps in before we go into race 2. And the winner of race 1, Chaz Cleland, who has had sporadic appearances. I can't quite remember if he attended Brands Hatch. I think he did, but he just wasn't anywhere near the front as he would have liked to have been. Certainly nowhere near the front as he was in Donington Park and race 1 just gone by, but Chaz won race 1 tonight. We'll see how he gets on for the rest. Gavin Allen will start on pole position as he finished 10th in race 1. And just before we go into the racing, we haven't got the championship points laid out live like we would like, but this is how it looked coming into tonight. Mikey Doble led the championship by 40 points ahead of Bobby Thompson. Now, finishing 2 places down from Bobby Thompson is lead to be slashed a little bit, but not a huge amount, a couple of points at least. But nothing to worry Mikey Doble just yet. So Doble and Thompson certainly firm at the top of the table at the moment. Jamie Dory was in 30, he might have dropped down to below Ollie Peters after that race, and Dan Holland in 6th place there might have jumped up a few places with his impressive performance in race 1 where he finished 3rd. So it could all be juggled about a little bit, that top 10 coming out of today's racing. But we'll have to find out on the stream anyway next week, which will be round 5 of Silverstone. A very wide track which might see a lot of side-by-side action. But when it comes to getting the edge on the other driver, this track is probably a little bit easier as there's more corners and there's a lot more braking zones. With Silverstone it's a lot more flat out. Not literally flat out, but certainly more pedal to the metal kind of driving. So it'll be very, very interesting. We'll see a lot of side-by-side action next week, I'm sure. Just watching Bobby Thompson, 2nd place in race 1. He'll be looking for win number 4 of the season. He won 2 at Brands Hatch, 1 at Donington, and he hasn't had a win for 2 weeks now. So you certainly be looking for one in race 2 or race 3, but now with the reverse grids to take into consideration, there's a lot of overtaking to be done on such a tricky track to overtake on. But that's for the drivers to worry about, not us. We're just here to watch and enjoy it. Last week's round at Lime Rock was probably the best of the season. Similar to Oulton Park, where it's quite a narrow circuit, but it's much faster. So we saw a lot of very daring moves. A lot of the moves done at Oulton Park will be done under the brakes. The couple of drivers that have been doing some laps Mikey Doble, one of them, as we were just watching there. Top at the moment. And Wayne Douglas, who didn't have such a good showing in race 1, he dropped down the order fairly quickly on the opening lap. But certainly be looking for redemption in this second race. And the checkered flag is out. We're about to go into race 2 of the evening. So there we go. The grid will form. And there we go. Gavin Allen will start on pole position. William Full second, with Ollie Peters third. Oliver Turner will be fourth, with Lee Horn in fifth. Sixth will be Dave Newsham, with Mikey Doble, championship leader, in seventh. Dan Holland eighth, who was third in race 1, second in race 1. Bobby Thompson will start ninth and first in race 1, who climbed 5 places to get there. 10th will start Chaz Cleland. Wayne Douglas, who's been quick in practice and qualifying, will start 11th, and Morgan Shaw in 12th. And the order of the grid follows thereafter, but we have to look at the racing now as the lights are going red now. We'll be going racing in a few seconds.
Green flag.
Now, lights are green. Away goes Gavin Allen and William Full on the front row. It's a good start for the green car of Gavin Allen. Into turn 1 we go now. And it's a good opening corner from Ollie Peters, I think that is, as he goes through the middle and up the inside of William Full. Brilliant start for Ollie Peters. He gets into the lead past his teammate and past Gavin Allen, up 2 places already. And wide there goes, it's a Fury car, that's Oliver Turner, and down towards the old, sorry, I keep saying the old hairpin, into the island hairpin we go, and look at this, it's a big pile up already. Dave Newsham spins right in front of everyone else. Oh, and it's a colossal pile up in the island hairpin. It collected so many drivers, and it's still going on. Back there, that's Flounders, I think, on so many drivers caught up in that. We will go to a replay of that shortly later, but Ollie Peters carries on with Gavin Allen behind. Who got collected there? Jamie Dory's already up to 6th place. He's got past Bobby Thompson, Wayne Douglas, and just behind Mikey Doble somehow. I don't know how he managed that, but brilliant start for Jamie Dory there. Now, who was collected at the back there? We'll go back and see if we can find out. So here we go. Watching Chaz Cleland. Oh, and it was the 2 green cars there. In fact, it was. Just trying to figure out who that was. Just take another look at it. We'll resume the racing very, very shortly. Yeah, the 51 machine getting caught up with the 88 machine. But let's get back with the racing now. Dave Newsham with a bit of damage on his car. He was caught up in it. He spun in front of many drivers. And my timing is definitely mixed up, as it's saying Mikey Doble leads. He doesn't. It is definitely the 2 Crest Autosport cars leading at the moment, who are Ollie Peters and William Foyle. I'm sure the timing screen will sort itself out very shortly. But William Foyle just ahead of that Mikey Doble in 3rd. So something happened to Gavin Allen, and a crash for Stephen Daly to report on. That's I think that's Bobby Thompson. Sorry, Dave Newsham alongside him. Oh, and he just collected it on the grass and couldn't save it. Let's resume from where we were at. That's Lee Horn following Dan Holland, and he's got Chaz Cleland behind. So those guys have definitely not progressed many positions. They're the ones who were probably collected in the island hairpin shenanigans. Jeff Perkins has done very well. He is up quite a few positions to the back of this pack. A bit of damage on Lee Horn's bumper there as the undercut from Chaz Cleland, as he gets by Lee Horn. who tried the move ahead of him on Holland, but couldn't quite make it. But now our timing screen's sorted out. Ollie Peters still leads. William Full holding up Mikey Doble and Bobby Thompson, who will definitely see this as a clean break from the drivers they were battling in race 1. Thompson going very wide coming out of the Cascades there. Poulter is up to 5th place, up 8 places. A very good showing from him so far in this race. The biggest mover is him and Jonathan Gibbs and Jeff Perkis. Up 8 places each. Oh, and look at this back here. That's Gibbs on the inside of Short. Them two came together, I think, in race 1. So Gibbs getting back up the order. He's one of them that has moved up 8 places, now 9 places if he can complete this move on Morgan Short. Into Heaslip's we go. Still holding his side. Oh, and it's another contact from the rear on Gibbs. But Morgan Short again tapping the rear of Gibbs. And is back down to 8th place for Gibbs and just staying ahead of Newsham and Dory. He'll have to catch back up with Morgan Short. He will not be happy at all. And that's Newsham on the inside of Dory, defending the position. But a bit of damage on that car might be letting him down somewhat. Let's get back to the front as William Full is still hanging on to position from Bobby Thompson and Mikey Doble. Bobby Thompson, in fact, gave William Full a little bit of tuition a few weeks ago on how to drive these cars quicker. The coachee versus the coach, as the coach is on the inside. Bobby Thompson on the inside, going through what is the most difficult corner to overtake on, and William Full went wide to avoid contact. Bobby Thompson didn't have such a good run as William Full's hanging on to the inside, down into the Cascades. Thompson will take the position, taking a wider unconventional line, running off the track even. That might have lost the car. Oh, he rejoins the track just behind the two, but Doble might be taking 2nd place here. Double whammy for him on the inside of the island corner. William Full trying the undercut as Doble goes a little bit wide on the exit. The two give each other room, and no, they don't. They came together. Doble goes straight to the side of William Full, and I don't think William Full gave Doble enough room to come back across the track. But the championship leader involved in drama for the first time this season that I've seen or remember. And William Full got a lot of damage on that car. Now I'm going to take another look at that as... William Full just not giving Doble enough room to come back onto the track. And Doble will be a little bit PO'd about that. That's to definitely say the least about that. Him and Gibbs, who are both being the source of drama that we've seen so far in this race, close together now, 6th and 7th. But that gives Bobby Thompson a clean break and will help him in the championship. I mean, I think Doble is his teammate, so he won't be over the moon about that. But Thompson can now focus on trying to catch up with Ollie Peters, who hasn't had a win yet this season. He was 3rd going into Lime Rock Park, dropped down 1 place with not his best performance, in his words, last time out of Lime Rock Park. We did see the spin he had at the end of race 1, which cost him 5th place, but he's in the lead now, and he's got to get his foot down, as he's got a lot of time remaining to stay ahead of Bobby Thompson, who is going to be going for his 4th win of the season. Many drives up many positions. Poulter is up 9 places to 4th in the Oreo machine there. 9 places also gained by Jonathan Gibbs in 7th place, who is hunting down Morgan Short, and Morgan Short has been overtaken by Mikey Doble. Now Gibbs has history with Short in this meeting today. Trying desperately to get back on him as a crash further down the field. It is Paul Daly again. Oh, just braking a little bit too late going into the island hairpin. I wouldn't call that a crash. Yeah, it's my timing telemetry said he crashed. That's definitely unfair. I wouldn't say he did. But back with this battle amongst the top 10. Dory close to Dave Newsham ahead. William Foyle, after the collision he had with Mikey Doble, and wide there, back there, that was Ian Crosby. And Cleland, the winner of race 1, in 13th place, trying to claw back some positions. He's alongside the 23 machine of Ian Crosby, who's recovering from going slow out of Druids, and Cleland gets by. Up to 12th place on his comeback he goes. He started 10th in this race, and he'll be trying to get back to at least that. towards the front. Bobby Thompson has gained considerably on Ollie Peters in this last lap or so, about a second, so it will be battle commenced very shortly between these two, you've got to say. But we've seen Bobby Thompson push very, very hard, particularly coming out of the Cascades. So let's see how he gets on when he catches, or if he catches, Ollie Peters. Jonathan Gibbs not yet found a way past Short. He's probably a little bit apprehensive to try many moves due to the contact that happened earlier between the two. That was when Gibbs was in front though. But still trying to complete the move on him all them laps ago. There's a car going right there. That was Ian Crosby going off on the runoff and rejoining, losing a couple of positions in the process. Might have broke too late again, did Crosby. Now Mikey Doble, although him and William Falls brief off coming out of the island hairpin, dropped him a few positions, he's still in the top 5. Still good championship points for him, although he'd be dropping some to Bobby Thompson, who, by the way, is reeling in Peters at about a second per lap. So certainly the quicker man on the track is Thompson, but catching's one thing, passing is another. It's a real life touring car driver versus a real life motocross driver. Ollie Peters, the motocross driver, of course. And coming down to the island hairpin, Thompson looks to be taking a look. Had a very good draft coming out of the Cascades. Oh, and very sideways is Ollie Peters under the brakes. And Bobby Thompson tried to think of the undercut, but Ollie Peters hung on to the inside. But Thompson has a very good run coming out of the hairpin as Peters slots back onto the racing line. Safe and sound at the moment. He has to be very careful on the brakes, locking up like he did into the island hairpin. Did keep him the position, you got to say, but it was very tentative driving. Across the curb of Knickerbrook, now up the hill as we'll head towards Druids Corner. Less than 5 minutes to go for Bobby Thompson to pass Peters to take the lead of the race. And Bobby Thompson, if he can win this, will be his 4th win of the season. Peters, if he can win this, will be his 1st race win of the season. But we've got to give credit to Douglas back here as well, up 8 places. Debutant today will be a podium finish if he can resume as he is right now. Of a deer leap. Thompson tried to take a look to the inside, puts Peters on a defensive mode. Taking a wide entry into the old hall. Peters hangs on for now, coming into the Cascades. This is where Bobby Thompson has been running very, very wide, trying to get the most he can out of his car, and he takes a lunge up the inside. Peters gives him room, but powers round the outside of the corner to stay in front just about. Coming down to the island hairpin, Peters goes defensive again, now comes back onto the racing line, still taking a shallow entry into the hairpin. Thompson takes a late exit, a late apex exit from the corner, but is not gaining down this straight here as it clouds over again on this 12-minute marker in the session. Just to check on further back, Gibbs not yet past Short, and that's Jamie Dory still defending ahead of Dan Holland. Doble is caught up to the back of Poulter, so 4th place is back on the cards for Doble. Let's get back up with Ollie Peters and Bobby Thompson. Though, this is the battle for top spot. Coming around Druids. Oh, a little bit of a twitchy rear end from Ollie Peters. Bobby Thompson had a very good run. He looks to the inside. He's now chosen to take the inside, breaking into the corner. And Ollie Peters so late on the brakes, but too late on the brakes. Thompson has got alongside, now has the outside for Deer Leap, and will have the inside going into the old hall. Ollie Peters is not going to give up though. He's still first coming across the line, breaking into the old hall corner. Both give each other room. Thompson has got himself ahead, and Peters will still hang on. Side by side, these two for a few corners now. And Thompson now gets ahead, going into the Cascades. What has Ollie Peters got to do to respond to Thompson here? Thompson very good through Cascades there, stretches away from Peters ever so slightly. There'll be this lap and another lap to go in this session. Peters will not be giving up. Oh, big on the power. The back end drifting out, and he had opposite lock on the front there, did Peters. Probably not the quickest way around the corner, but it certainly looked cool. Now, while this carries on for another lap or so, back here with Jamie Dory, he's down to 10th place, has dropped behind Holland and Newsham. But Morgan Short hanging on to 6th, and Doble has got himself back into 4th place. Doble, although he was battling for 3rd at one point in the race, will still be considerably pleased with this position of 4th, being the championship leader coming into tonight. But Bobby Thompson will be bringing back some points for his championship bid. And it's a big battle going on for 9th place here. Dan Holland just ahead of Jamie Dory. Cleland on the comeback. Cleland was the race 1 winner, caught in the incident on lap 1 going into the island hairpin, and we might see another one of them, being a very tricky and tight, slow corner. But the final lap has started now, and that's Dave Newsham slowing down to let by Holland, is it? I'm not sure what was going on with Dave Newsham there in the white and red car. Oh, both him and Jamie Dory come together, and that is, oh, very close. They come back on the track. Couldn't really avoid that, could they, as they bounced off the tyres, but the two came together. Let's see if we can get a replay of that just before. Oh, wrong one. Let's just get another replay of that. Yeah, and Dave Newsham just understeered into Jamie Dory, and Dory hasn't been involved in much of that drama at all this season, and his luck's run out. And it was a good comeback on the cards for Jamie Dory with that race, starting from the back in race 1. Got himself into the top 10, but that's over now. But Bobby Thompson stretching away from Ollie Peters in the last lap or so. This will be the 4th win of the season for the ex-touring car driver. Not entirely sure what he's... I'm going to have to find out. I'm not sure what he's doing drive-wise this season. It would be very good to find out. Maybe you can do the UK Legends Series. But in this Legends Series, Bobby Thompson will take his 4th win of the season. 2 at Brands Hatch, 1 at Donington Park, and 1 here at Oulton Park. Thompson wins from Peters in 2nd. Newcomer tonight, Wayne Douglas, takes 3rd place. Championship leader coming into tonight, Mikey Doble, takes 4th place. Richard Poulter, 5th place. Morgan Short hangs on to 6th. Jonathan Gibbs with his comeback up 9 places, the biggest mover of the field in this race, 7th place for him. Dan Holland takes 8th place, 9th place to Chaz Cleland in the end, up 1 place from where he started. And William Full, involved in an incident with Mikey Doble earlier on, finishes 10th. Oliver Turner 11th, Lee Horn 12th. And we'll go through the rest of the results as they come by. But your race winner was Bobby Thompson. What an interesting race that was. And we've got the results now here for you. Bobby Thompson took the win from Ollie Peters. Douglas 3rd, Doble 4th, and Poulter 5th. And the rest goes on as it is there. And reverse grid is a full reverse grid, but it will only be for drivers who finish the race. So I believe Mark Flounders there in 21st will be pole for race 3 of the night. So there's your top 3, Thompson, Peters and Douglas. It's a full reverse grid for race 3 coming up very, very shortly. We'll be back very, very shortly for race 3. See you in a mo.
The GP Box is an online marketplace for motorsports merchandise and memorabilia. Browse for a whole range of motorsports products in all forms of motorsport. Take Formula 1 for example. There is a whole section dedicated to Formula 1 products from your favourite drivers, cars, teams or tracks from all eras of Formula 1. There are more series available, including WRC if you are a rally fan. You can even search for your favourite form of motorsports to see what products they have in your favourite forms of motorsport. Or, if yourself are a retailer in motorsport, you could set up your own shop within the GP box to open up your products to a much bigger motorsport audience. Find out more at thegpbox.com. The GP Box is an online marketplace for motorsports merchandise and memorabilia. Browse for a whole range of motorsports products in all forms of motorsport. Take Formula 1 for example. There is a whole section dedicated to Formula 1 products from your favourite drivers, cars, teams or tracks from all eras of Formula 1. There are more series available, including WRC if you are a rally fan. You can even search for your favourite form of motorsport to see what products they have in your favourite forms of motorsport. Or, if yourself are a retailer in motorsport, you could set up your own shop within the GP box to open up your products to a much bigger motorsport audience. Find out more at thegpbox.com. The GP Box is an online marketplace for motorsports merchandise and memorabilia. Browse for a whole range of motorsports products in all forms of motorsport. Take Formula 1 for example. There is a whole section dedicated to Formula 1 products from your favourite drivers, cars, teams or tracks from all eras of Formula 1. There are more series available, including WRC if you are a rally fan. You can even search for your favourite form of motorsport to see what products they have in your favourite forms of motorsport. Or, if yourself are a retailer in motorsport, you could set up your own shop within the GP Box to open up your products to a much bigger motorsport audience. Find out more at thegpbox.com. The GP Box is an online marketplace for motorsports merchandise and memorabilia. Browse for a whole range of motorsports products in all forms of motorsport. Take Formula 1 for example. There is a whole section dedicated to Formula 1 products from your favourite drivers, cars, teams or tracks from all eras of Formula 1. There are more series available, including WRC if you are a rally fan. You can even search for your favourite form of motorsport to see what products they have in your favourite forms of motorsport. Or, if yourself are a retailer in motorsport, you could set up your own shop within the GP Box to open up your products to a much bigger motorsport audience. Find out more at thegpbox.com.
Well, welcome back. Race 3 coming up of the Next Gen Racing iRacing League and the 20th season of Next Gen's existence. But this iRacing League in the Legends Ford 34 Coupe. Round 4 here at Oulton Park, and this broadcast is brought to you by Next Gen Racing on Facebook and Crest Autosport via YouTube and Twitch. Race 3 coming up very, very shortly. But a little bit of housekeeping before we get underway. This is the Next Gen Legends Series every Wednesday, except for 1 week, but we started off all them weeks ago at Brands Hatch Indy for round 1. Round 2 was the Donington National Circuit. Lime Rock Park was last week, and tonight is Oulton Park, and we've got the third race to conclude the night very, very shortly. Silverstone National will be next week, so do tune in 1 week from today to catch that. We have a 1 week break in 2 weeks' time, but we'll resume for round 6 at Snetterton, the 200 layout, which is a different layout to what you see on the British touring cars. It is the outer circuit, which was synonymous with Snetterton for many, many years until 2010 or around then. Round 7, Daytona Bike Course, slightly different variation of the road course we know so well with the 24 hours of Daytona. That'll be round 7. Round 8 is the Oulton Park, now a fictional circuit in Australia. Its legacy lives on iRacing. And then the final 2 rounds of the season, both on ovals, one a regular tarmac oval, one a dirt oval. Bristol will be round 9 of the season, and round 10 will be the Lanier Speed Park to conclude the season. Your league admin, Jamie Dory, he's the man to contact if you want to get involved in this series, the Legend Series on Wednesdays. Next Gen also have a Friday night GTE series you can take part in or watch on Jacko Racing Friday night, as we mentioned. Tonight we've had qualifying and 2 races. Now coming up is another 15-minute race where the grid is based on the results of race 2 but reversed. So a full 22 car reverse grid, and we'll see plenty of action in there. So, drivers out practicing at the moment. There's a little bit of drama in the second race, there's got to be said. One of them looking at right there, William Paul involved in an incident with Mikey Doble, the championship leader. There was an incident at the start of the race involving Dan Holland and other drivers, many drivers piling up into the hairpin. And a few laps from the end, a big battle between Bobby Thompson and Ollie Peters, which was good to watch. But a 22 reverse grid. So you can see Ollie Peters there with a bit missing from his front left there. Damage on his car in practice. I would have thought he would have repaired that, being in practice, but never mind. Yeah, 22 reverse grid, so it'd be very, very exciting for this third race. And being such a narrow and kind of slow circuit in comparison to the other circuits we've driven so far this season, it's proven very difficult for drivers to overtake on this track today. And being so twisty, putting the power down on the car has led the rear end to spin on them so easy. So that's something to look out for in race 3, is all the difficulties that the Legends do present. These cars, by the way, on iRacing are free it is part of the content you get with your subscription to iRacing. However, it is a car most commonly used with oval racing in the ranked servers. So it's a car you'll use if you want to get your oval license up, if you're interested in the NASCARs and the Indy cars. They're very, very good cars to drive on any surface, really. And in actual fact, this series of Next Gen is covering 3 of the 4 mediums of iRacing. The only one we're missing is Rallycross. But we are using an oval circuit later in the season. We are also using a dirt oval later in the season. And we've got many circuit races, 8 of them to be precise, of the 10 rounds we've got this season. Just 2 minutes to go until we start the session. And as we did before race 2, we don't have the championship results live on display, but this is how it looked coming into tonight. Mikey Doble led the championship by 40 points from Bobby Thompson. Mikey Doble hasn't had his best night, certainly not as good as he had at Lime Rock Park, but he's had 2 top 4 finishes so far today. Still clocking up some good points, but Bobby Thompson has had a 2nd place and a 1st place. So bringing back plenty of points on Doble and maintaining his stance in the top 2 of the championship is Bobby Thompson. 3rd will certainly be shaken up though. Ollie Peters had a good night, so he might find himself back in that battle for 3rd. Well, he was still in that battle for 3rd, but he might be joined by Dan Holland, who had a good race in race 1. So we'll have to see after tonight. You can follow Next Gen on their Facebook group to find out the championship status from this championship, or you can just tune in back in next week as we capture all the action live as it happens. Now, top of the standing in practice right now is Chaz Cleland. Chaz didn't have such a good race. He was caught up in the pile-up at the Island Corner in race 2. But with finishing, I think it was 9th, he'd be closer to the front than that of his championship rivals and that of the drivers who he was battling with in race 1. So Cleland, keep an eye on him in this race is all I'm going to say. But it would be good to see how far Bobby Thompson could get himself up the order in this 3rd race. He'll be starting 22nd. Let's see how high up he can get. He had a good showing at Lime Rock Park, climbing many positions that race. So we tick over into the race session, and this will be the grid for race 3. Colin Martin starts on pole position with Mikey Smith 2nd. Matthew Addy in 3rd with Dave Whitehouse 4th. Ian Crosby 5th, Jeff Perkis 6th. Jamie Dory 7th, Dave Newsham 8th. Alan in 9th, Lee Horn in 10th. Oliver Turner 11th, 12th is William Foyle, and the rest of the order follows as it is. But we have to get underway with the racing as the lights are red, and we're about to go racing again for the final race of the night here at Oulton Park. And away we go. Good start there from Colin Martin in the lead early on. Single file for the front 3 going into turn 1, and there's a collision back there. That was William Foyle, and it's Chaz Cleland. Chaz Cleland, the race 1 winner, involved in an instant before the first corner. And the race will carry on. We're going to try and get a replay of that later on, but they carry on through turn 2 of Cascades. Colin Martin going wide, and now coming up towards the island hairpin. Michael Smith is behind him. Now, will these drivers get through the island hairpin safer than they did in race 1? Look at them all going. Oh no, Ian Crosby spins, but I don't think he's collected anyone, thankfully. They all get through the island hairpin safely. And now up towards Heaslop's now. Colin Martin still leads from Michael Smith. Addy's in 3rd, Whitehouse in 4th. Who haven't moved positions yet of any of them 4. Jeff Perkis there in the mystery machine is up to 5th place. Biggest mover so far, Dan Holland, is up 5 places so far from the start in the number 9 machine there. Now, and Bobby Thompson has spun coming out of Knickerbrook there, and so has Ollie Peters. Let's see if we can find out what happened to Bobby Thompson. Oh, contact with the 66 machine of Wayne Douglas. and just sent him round. And it'll be catch-up time for Bobby Thompson. We said we'd keep an eye on him to see how much he can press up the order. We'll have to see if he catches up with the pack. But it's very much been thrown up in the air right now. Mikey Doble, championship leader coming into tonight, is 14th at the moment. But across the line they go. Martin leads from Smith, from Addy. Dave Newsham up 4 places. And look at this, a 3-wide situation. Oh, and Lee Horn was turned in on by Jeff Perkis, who goes round and into the tyres. Lee Horn managed to keep it going, but drops a few positions. 3 wide was never going to work there. None of them had time to react, but Jeff Perkis just probably didn't realise it was 3 wide. Thankfully, 2 of the drives have kept going. One of them sadly hasn't, and that is Jeff Perkis. Jamie Dory up to 7th place, well, still in 7th place from where he started. Just avoiding all the drama so far, and that's the number 2 machine of Jonathan Gibbs. Another spin for him. It just hasn't gone well for him tonight, has it, for Jonathan Gibbs? See if we can get a replay of Johnny Gibbs there. That was involved with Matt Allen, I think, the number 99. Gavin Allen, do excuse me. Back with the pack. Gibbs resuming, and that's Lee Horn trying to claw his way back. Doble is up 8th places. He's one of the biggest movers. The championship leader coming into tonight, and you'll see Bobby Thompson far down the order. That will certainly boost his hopes at the championship. Dan Holland is up 9 places. Dave Newsham's up the inside, coming into the top 3. Newsham takes 3rd place from Matthew Addy, and he's going to be charging towards 1st place, I presume, for the rest of this race here. Has Dave Newsham got a crack at the race win? And look at this, this is Dan Holland now getting past Matthew Addy. Holland up 10 places in the opening 2 laps of this race, up to 4th place. Brilliant start for him. Whitehouse defending from Turner, and Turner gets up the inside, and he's got Dory behind him as well. Mikey Doble there, closing in on the top 8. And look at this further up, this is Dave Newsham. He's making his way for 2nd already alongside Michael Smith. The 2 cars are very similar livery, but it's Dave Newsham who's got ahead, and Dan Holland is now making his way into the top 3. 11 places gained for him. What a charge through the field this has been so far from Holland. But he's got Dave Newsham ahead of him, an ex-BTCC driver, who's going to try and close down Colin Martin here in the 666 machine. Oh, this is Doble on the outside of Whitehouse. Outside, coming towards Druids corner, hangs on very well to that outside, and into the corner he goes. He gets by David Whitehouse and into 8th place, charging up the field from starting 19th on the grid. Oh, and there's a car going wide there. That was, I think that might have been Will Foyle going wide there, coming out of Druids, and he's got Crosby on his inside. A bit of a mangled rear end on the Crest Autosport machine, but the number 1 of Ian Crosby gets by and into 14th place. And Holland is already past Dave Newsham, and let's see if we can get a replay of that. Well, good run coming out of the final corner, it seems, and just gets up the inside of Newsham. Brilliant move from Holland. Now further back, Whitehouse hanging on to the top 8, just about. He's got Ollie Peters behind him, and now looking at Mike Smith, who is seeing Dave Newsham and Dan Holland pull away. Dan Holland up 12 places in the 3 laps, or 3.5 laps so far in this race, and has now got to close in 2 seconds to the car in front of Colin Martin. Smith battling with Turner here. Oh, and it's a good run coming out Knickerbrook from Turner on the outside. As we come over the hill there, there was a car going wide at the back there. I think that was Poulter. But up the inside goes Turner on Smith and gets through into 4th place. Good move from Turner. Oh, and look at that, there's a car going very loose in the background there. That's Matthew Addy, and he's collected another car. Let's just get a replay of that to see what actually happened to Matthew Addy. coming out of Druids onto the grass. Couldn't save it. And was that Mikey Doble? No, it wasn't. He didn't collect any other car. Oh, it was so close for Mikey Doble there. He nearly got collected as Matthew Addy limps away. Martin still leads. Holland just over a second behind. Ollie Peters, who was in with a shot of winning race 2. Oh, and sideways to the next-gen machine of Lee Horn, and he collects. Oh, sorry, that was Jamie Doyle. He collects all sorts of other cars as well. Short has been collected, as has Whitehouse. And we saw what happened. Oh. Let's try again. There we go. So sideways he went, and just, yeah, nowhere for Short to go. He thought Dory was going right, but he didn't. Now, Bobby Thompson dropped far back from the pack at the start of the race, but he's up to 9th now. What a superb comeback from Thompson. Up 12 places, as is Ollie Peters ahead. But the biggest mover, Mikey Doble, championship leader. This is why he's leading the championship. This is what he does. 5th place for him right now. And going ever so slightly sideways back there was Mikey Smith in 6th place. But Doble is closing in on Turner ahead of him. And Holland, look how close he's got to Colin Martin in this last lap or so. And the battle for the lead is on. Colin Martin trying to put his foot down as much as possible for half of this race. He's now got to defend as much as he can, and Holland had a very good run coming out of the Old Hall corner there. He might have completed the move already, going into the Cascades now. He's ahead. Dan Holland takes the lead here in race 3 at Oulton Park, and up 13 places, and it only took him 6 laps to get up 13 places. And look at this, Dave Newsham's now trying the inside of Colin Martin. This will be 2nd place for Dave Newsham. He's not giving up on Dan Holland ahead. Brilliant move from Newsham. Martin will not know what's happened to him there. Well, will know what's happened. He's dropped 2 places, but he's still in the top 3. That's something he needs to focus on, is keeping hold of. Doble there, up 13 places in 5th place, charging down. Turner ahead and Martin ahead, and he'll not want to let Dan Holland get away so easy. That's Smith ahead of Lee Horn, and now looking back to Oliver Turner just behind Colin Martin, who was in the lead of the race at the start of this lap, now in 3rd. And look at this, Turner might have the inside going into the corner, the final corner of the track, and now through Dearly, Martin has surrendered 3rd place to Oliver Turner, and now it is Mikey Doble's turn to try at Martin. Holland leads for the first time in this race. Up the inside goes Doble on Colin Martin. Martin goes wide, and Doble takes the position. 4th place for him, up 14 places. So whatever Dan Holland can do, Doble can do as well, it seems. And I don't think Doble's done just yet. Thompson, who has had a good haul of points tonight, will want more positions to help his championship bid against Doble tonight. And just ahead of him, there's a 3-way battle going on between Peters, Horn and Smith. Horn heading the battle, defends going into the hairpin. And they've got Bobby Thompson cruising up behind them. And Thompson will engage battle in these final 4.5 minutes for that top 6 position, headed by Lee Horn at the moment. Thompson close on Smith. Smith's in the 10 car, Ollie Peters there in the 121 car. Peters, who's had a pretty good night tonight, you've got to say. Nearly won race 2. He had a good showing in race 1 as well. More than made up for what he called a disappointment at Lime Rock Park 1 week ago. And look at this, Bobby Thompson might have found the inside of Michael Smith. This seems to be a favoured move for these drivers coming into the Lodge corner. I've remembered the corner name now. And he makes the move. Into the top 8 goes Bobby Thompson. But leading at the end of lap 7 is Dan Holland, coming very wide coming out of the Old Hall corner there. But it's not, you've got to say he's not losing Dave Newsham. Newsham's hanging on, and it will only take a mistake from Holland for Newsham to close it back up on the leader. Remains to be seen how this will progress for the remainder of the race. Just over 3 minutes to go for these drivers. 51 machine, Oliver Turner, his debut tonight. Might he get a podium? Certainly looking that way at the moment, but he's got Doble closing him down in 4th place back there. You can just see him on the left screen there. Coming into the chicane, they go. Newsham has closed up a little bit on Holland. So, I'm not entirely sure what the tyre wear is like in these cars, but as Holland used up his tyres too early on in this session. I need a iRacing Legends expert to tell me that. But Newsham is within half a second of Holland. If these cars had DRS, he'd have it open. But this final 2.5 minutes to go, it will be a real rumble between these four. Coming into Lodge corner. Newsham, who hasn't had the best start to the season, this meeting has really been redemption for him. He's had some good times on the board and good results, definitely in race 1 and definitely in race 3 here so far. And both drivers using more than the track limits to get the better of each other. Lap 9 here. We'll have another lap to go next time by. Newsham has lost a couple of tenths from Holland in this last half a lap, but this was where Newsham was quicker than Holland on the previous lap, and you can see Newsham's got such a good line through that hairpin, nice and tight on the apex. Down the hill into Heaslop's now. All of these drivers we've noticed tonight taking different lines through that chicane to try and get the best acceleration or the best speed through the corner, either or depending on their situation. Newsham trying desperately to catch up with Holland, who's been screaming through the pack in this race, you've got to say it, but now it's leading from the front for Holland. A completely different mindset to what he had at the early half of this race. Less than a minute to go, so it'll be last lap this time by. Holland starts his final lap of race 3 here. He was battling for the lead, or battling amongst the leading pack in race 1. And did not quite get the win, but it's certainly looking good right now. Newsham is not letting him go. You've got to say, these four are real close when it comes to times. Holland comes through the Cascades now. Up to the island hairpin. Breaking into the corner. And Newsham, I think Newsham might have broke a little bit too late there. He had to ease off during the during the middle of the corner there, and Holland has broken away a little bit from Newsham. Turner closed in a little bit on Newsham as well. Holland goes into the chicane. Getting so close to the tyres to get every bit of pace he can out of the car. Final moments of the race now. Through Druids corners, not much time for Dave Newsham. He needs a bit of a miracle from Holland, but Holland just needs to keep it hooked up to bring home, I think it'll be his 2nd win of the season. I think he won a race at Lime Rock Park. But he'll come through the final corner now. Checkered flag is ready and waiting for him. Dan Holland will come through to win race 3 of the night. And it's close between 3rd and 4th. No, it's not. But yeah, Dan Holland wins the race. Dave Newsham 2nd. Oliver Turner on his debut tonight takes home a podium placing. Mikey Doble with another 4th place finish, but strong points finish nonetheless for him. Colin Martin from pole position finishes 5th place. Lee Horn takes 6th. up 14 places, one of the biggest movers. Bobby Thompson giving a bit of theatrics at the end there, takes 7th. Ollie Peters, a good night for him, takes 8th. Jonathan Gibbs, who was involved, if there was any instant you could name from tonight, Gibbs was probably ended up involved in it somehow, but 9th place for him. Michael Smith, 10th. Wayne Douglas took 11th, but your race winner was Dan Holland. Well, what a night of racing that was, and we'll conclude the race results once everyone has come through and finished, but unfortunately we can't give you the live championship results as sim racing isn't quite as easy as that. But join us in a week's time where we'll be at Silverstone, where you can find out the championship standings, but we're going to go through the race results very, very shortly. Very not so pretty legend coming through, and that legend is Jamie Dory, just about hanging on to it, and he comes across the line, last of the runners, and that will be all the lead lap finishers. There are your classified results of race 3. Dan Holland takes the win from Dave Newsham in 2nd, his best result of the season. Oliver Turner on his debut takes 3rd. Mikey Doble with 2 4th places in a row takes 4th place here in race 3. Colin Martin takes 5th with Lee Horn in 6th. Bobby Thompson a charge back through the field after a spin on the first part of the lap of lap 1, takes 7th in the end. Ollie Peters 8th. Jonathan Gibbs 9th. Michael Smith 10th. Wayne Douglas in 11th. Gavin Allen takes 12th with Richard Poulter in 13th. Ian Crosby 14th. William Fall in 15th. Jeff Perkis takes 16th. And Dave Whitehouse in 17th. 18th, Matthew Addy. And Jamie Dory, last to finish on the lead lap, takes 19th. Morgan Short, Chaz Cleland did not finish. Well, this has been the Next Gen Racing iRacing Legends. Join us in 1 week's time for what will be round 5 of the season, which will come to you from Silverstone National Circuit. I've been Alex Everett, your commentator tonight. Do give Crest Autosport a like and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch, and do like and follow Next Gen Racing on Facebook. We'll see you in 1 week's time at Silverstone. Good night.